That's such a remarkable thing to think about, right? Like the idea that, obviously you are bonded with so many Red Sox players by virtue of the fact of the uniform that you've worn, but also to be able to do that as, as kind of committed members of the community, right? Like who, where that connection and attachment lasts beyond just the parameters of the baseball day. I do wonder, like, as obviously Tim Wakefield is near and dear to so many of our hearts. How much as you got more deeply involved in the Jimmy Fund, how much that allowed you to kind of feel a connection, forge a connection with Tim Wakefield, and as we get ready for for another telethon for a cause that was near and dear to his heart, how much Tim Wakefield is kind of a presence for you when you're at the Jimmy Fund and involved in Jimmy Fund activities this year.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, I don't think you can find another person that has had a more lasting effect on a community or a place than Tim Wakefield has had in Boston and with the Jimmy Fund in particular. I mean, I wasn't fortunate enough to be able to talk with him a lot and discuss everything, but I mean, you just feel everything that he's done talking to anyone. I mean, everything this year, like we've been wanting to do in the honor of Tim and everything that he did, and you feel that lasting impact again walking into the clinic, talking to the staff. I mean, again, like we keep bringing up Miss Lisa just because of the amazing hero that she is, and she just keeps being like, man, like this is great. This reminds me so much of what Tim used to do. Like Tim used to do X, Y, and Z, and like this is fantastic. And it's amazing to see just again like the infectious personality that he had, the joy that he brought, the love that he again like he really leaves his like a piece of his heart with this community, with the people, with the faculty, with the patients. And again, it's one of those things that you just want to honor, you want to remember, and again, it's one of those things where this whole year and for years down the road, it'll always be like he was the pioneer, almost like to in this modern era of saying like, hey, yes, there's always been a connection with the Red Sox and Jimmy Fund, but we're going to take it a step further and we're going to make this extremely personal. We're going to make this extremely just unique and forge that bond even stronger.
Yeah, on Wednesday, in fact, I know we're going to do an hour where Lisa Sherber, and I will be co-hosting, but Jason Veritek and Brianna Wakefield are going to be with us in that hour. And you see what Brianna's doing, and I know y'all got to see her on opening day. I got to see her at the Run to Home Base a couple weeks ago. We got the cross home plate together. I mean, she's going into her freshman year in college. She's such a young woman, and she's handling herself just so incredibly well. And you think about the legacy, right? That's all we want. We want to raise good kids and make the world a better place. And you think of how she is carrying on Tim and Stacy's legacy. And as you were talking there, I was kind of thinking, he's done a pretty good job setting a legacy for the team as well. You guys wear that on your sleeve this year. He always said that winning the Roberto Clemente Award was the biggest honor of his career. This guy who won 2 World Series. And he said that was the biggest thing I ever accomplished in baseball. And I know you're a guy, Garrett, who takes all that seriously, right? Takes that this is more than baseball. You're here because you can play baseball, you're a great pitcher, but you've built a platform and you take that seriously, don't you? What you can do for others with that.
Absolutely. I take it very seriously. It's the most important thing to me. I mean, there's a very, very old saying that it's not about what you take when you go, it's what you leave behind. And that couldn't be more of a factual statement with Tim. I mean, listen, like we all know what he did on the field. We see the numbers. We see like I mean, Red Sox Hall of Famer, everything. Like he was a fantastic baseball player. But again, I would venture to say that if you ask 90% of the fans and the people in Boston what they remember most about Tim, it's what he did off the field. I mean, that's just the kind of person he was, and like you said, that's the legacy he leaves behind. That's what his family is now doing. That's what his daughter's doing. It's amazing to see, and again, it's just that because of the heart he had, and it's one of those things where I want to try and have that exact same heart. Like obviously I would never compare myself with Tim just because he was that amazing. And it's like, but I want to be a fraction of what he was able to do just in the community and everything like that, because like I want to have that exact same heart. I want to be able to say, you know what, like when I lay my head down at night, what was there one person that I was able to impact in a positive way today? Because even though it might have just been a normal day to me, like maybe that one thing turned their day around. Maybe that made them smile. Maybe that made them think about something happy, about something good. And again, like if there is one person you can impact every single day, that turns into such a big snowball effect, because then they'll start impacting other people, and then those people will impact other people. And again, it's just a snowball effect. And so when you have that one infectious personality like we had with Tim, it you can't help but spread it as you go, and it's amazing to see. And it's just one of those things where I can only pray and hope to be a fraction of the person and the man that Tim Wakefield was.
That's such a striking way of thinking about what matters, and it takes me back in some ways to at the time of your injury this year, and as Tom mentioned at the beginning of this, right? Like you had to undergo surgery, you had to undergo season-ending surgery a few months ago, and the recovery process seems to be going well. But the thing that was truly that kind of was honestly mind-blowing to me was it's been frustrating. The injuries have been frustrating for you. You, in addition to being a person who cares very much about impacting the lives of others, you are also a competitor who takes seriously, who cares a lot about your craft as well. But your perspective in discussing this surgery and the fact that you would not be able to pitch this year, but maintaining such a positive outlook on your hope, on your determination to be yourself on the mound, your determination to remain yourself off the mound, and to not let health, you let injury cloud who you are, it's been remarkable to see. And I do wonder, how much your work with the Jimmy Fund and that determination to help others has been helpful to you in terms of mindset as you've approached this rehab process and this time when you aren't able to pitch.
Yeah, and again, I'm only human. There was definitely a period of time, like right after it happened, when I was feeling down in the dumps. I was really honestly depressed, and I went through that stage where I did feel bad for myself and everything like that. But at the end of the day, my pastor back home, he talks about have a personality like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, where it's like, hey, whatever I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be happy and I'm gonna do it to my best. And you can't help but, again, like that's one of those things where when you have that personality, it can't help but uplift other people. And so it's one of those things like, yeah, it doesn't do me any good to feel down or anything like that. But if I can have that joy, that personality to where I can bring others up, then hopefully they lift others up around them, and then it just becomes a culture. Again, like that's what you see with the Jimmy Fund. Like I said, when you walk in there, you can't help but smile because everyone else is smiling. It's a culture of joy. It's a culture of happiness. It's a culture of uplifting other people. And so when you're around that, when you are, again, just around that every single day, you can't help but start to try and emulate that in other people and in yourself. And that's the kind of person that I want to be. I want to be that person that when, you ask other teammates, like, hey, like, what's Whitlock like? Or you ask fans, like, what's Whitlock like? Oh, man, dude's always got a smile. He's always uplifting. He's always, trying to do something to uplift someone else. Because, like, if you can do that, then that'll spread and just keep growing. And like I said, that'll create a culture of just joy and passion and happiness that, again, I think is amazing, that should be, again, spread. So that's just kind of the way. And again, like I said, like I'm human. I go through the ups and downs and everything like that. But if I can do my best to maintain that joy and that passion, then hopefully more times than not, then I can spread the joy and spread happiness and love and everything. And hopefully that, again, creates a culture of joy.